Hello, and up for sale, I've got a beautiful, well, beautiful to me anyways, I love all Defenders, 1991 Land Rover Defender 110 3-door. This is imported from the UK. I picked this one up in Scotland, and it's now located here in Michigan. Comes with a clean, clear Michigan title, ready for use on US roads. So this is a project vehicle that I bought with the intent of changing out the bulkhead, cross member, doing an interior and a paint job, but just don't have the time. Got too many vehicles to sell, and so this one's got to go at a discounted price for sure. All right, so let's take a close look at the body. That's where most of the work needs to be done. It needs a new paint job for sure. Or you know what? You can leave this vehicle as is and have an awesome off-roader, and you can beat it up and not care about it. Or you can do a restoration job. This is for one of those guys or the other guys, who knows. A little bit of cracking here in the, that looks like body filler on here that's cracked, and this has been hand painted with a brush, it looks like. There's definitely some not a very steady hand, that's for sure. Bulkhead, this has been repaired multiple times and filled in with body filler, you know, so it needs to be replaced. Or it's functional, but you know, if you want a pristine vehicle, you got to replace it. Doors are in pretty decent shape. No corrosion on the outside to speak of, really. The bottoms, surface rust, a little bit of a, not even really a hole in these doors, but they could be repaired and painted, no problem. Some pretty serious corrosion on the body panels that needs to be remediated. The rear cross member does have, so the chassis does have a pretty serious rust hole right there, but the back side of the cross member is surprisingly in good shape compared to the rest of the chassis. So you could patch that, or you can get a full quarter chassis and cut it right here and replace it, the whole thing. It's just a matter of cutting and welding a new one on. Cappings are actually in pretty decent shape. We got a galvanized roof rack, sliding side windows. The rear door is in pretty rough shape. It's rusted out on the bottom, and good thing is that the rear doors aren't that expensive. Back side of the cross member is in great shape. Not great, but you know, there's no holes in it. In the interior here, we've got a jump seat, spare tire, dog cage, bench seat. Headliner is a plastic vinyl, hard. It's not a fabric material, so it's just a one piece. It's pretty solid, actually sturdy and pretty cleanable, easily cleanable. Rear corners here have some corrosion on them. Top corner is pretty far gone. Bit of a dent right there. And again, just various nicks, scratches, and whatnot. Like I said, this would be an amazing, just fun toy off-roader that you could beat up and have fun off-road, or a nice restoration project. Galvanized rock sliders. Passenger door, same condition as the driver's. Rusty on the bottom, but fixable. On the outsides, pretty decent. A little bit of corrosion here in the bottom corner, but not too bad. I've seen worse. Interior here, we've got what looks to be either some Range Rover or Discovery seating, and I gotta say, they are super comfortable compared to stock Defender seats. Here's the back side of the bulkhead, pretty rusty. We'll walk you around. Again, front wings are both hand painted with a different shade of green. Not even really close to the other green, the Coniston green or olive. It's pretty far off, but it's still green, I guess. In the engine here, This vehicle does have 278,000 miles, but this engine runs too good to have that many miles on it. So I believe this engine to have been replaced or rebuilt at some point. You can see the gold paint on the engine block. There's no oil running or dripping down the motor, so it runs great, and it's not really leaking. Looks like that's a new turbo as well. Radiator hoses look good. Not too swollen or anything like that. Fan is missing. Well, they took it off and the shroud is gone. There's an electric aftermarket fan here. These motors take a lot of convincing to warm up, so a lot of guys remove the fan so that they warm up easier. Relay panel here. There's a bunch of switches on the dashboard that I'll show you. We've got oil pressure, temperature, fuel, and then boost gauge, that is not working, and then temperature gauge for the turbo, also not working. Voltmeter is working, clock, I can't tell, I don't know. Radio, that's working, and we got a couple switches here for the fan. The CB radio, which is up here, kind of sweet. And then they used to have some spotlights, but those are gone. And your cigarette and 12-volt adapter. High and low center docking diff, 5-speed manual, parking brake. And we got this nice one-piece floor mat, which is very heavy duty, keeps all the water and mud and crap at bay. Super easy to clean it out. So let's go ahead and start it up. No warning lights. There's your fuel pressure. Good to go. Okay, here at the rear of the vehicle we got drum brakes. Brake lines look to be in good shape. Muffler is good shape, not rusted. It is kind of resting there on the mud flap, so it rattles a little bit. Springs look newer. Rear axle, fill plug not leaking, that's good. The A-arm bushing, that will need to be replaced. There's quite a significant clunk in the gear change, and it's definitely coming from there. Springs are newer. Drums, tires look great. Bottom of the cross member, not too bad, but yeah, it does need to be welded and patched or replaced. And there's the bottom of the driver's side, pretty rough condition. And then we got the trailer hitch. And here we are at the front of the vehicle. The swivel seals are actually good. Bushings look, I don't know, it's hard to tell, they're kind of worn, but front axle not leaking. We do have some form of steering dampener here that looks pretty rusty. Bottom of the engine though, pretty clean, so yeah, not leaking, great shape. Like I said before, this 200 TDI runs really good. And there's the passenger side. You know, a lot of surface rust. Tie rod end boots look pretty good. There's that one. No rips or holes there. But all in all, just kind of rusty and a little bit dirty under here. And here's a look at the front Outriggers. It's been patched, but I think, you know, they could be welded on. These are, you know, easy to buy, super cheap part, but you just have to have someone weld it on. No big deal. And driver's side Outrigger looks to be in about the same shape. Okay, so let's take it for a ride, and I'll show you the acceleration, gear changes, braking, and all of that. So you can hear the turbo spool up quite nicely. take it through the gears one more time. Engine's running nice and strong. Gearbox is super solid as well. And that's it.